Hey guys, what's up? Ariintheair here, professional paraglide pilot, paraglide dealer, and YouTube instructor. Kind of got a little thing going on. I'm a little bit sick with low altitude sickness. I'm sure that a lot of you have this same condition in the middle of the winter. Haven't flown since I've been back from Mexico, which has got me fired up to talk about wingovers, one of my favorite tricks. You want to know how to do wingovers? Yeah, lots of people do. Let's get right into it. See ya! I'm paragliding! See ya! Everyone wants to know how to do wingovers, and I'm going to title this video specifically How to Learn Wingovers, because how to do wingovers is actually very difficult to talk about. It's a very nuanced and very feel-oriented maneuver. It's one of the most difficult maneuvers to master. It involves pitch, roll, yaw, and energy. And the perfect wingover is something that only master paraglide pilots totally have dialed. So, as with anything that is acrobatics, it is extremely dangerous. It can totally kill you, just like paragliding. So I highly recommend that if you want to learn this stuff, that you do it under supervision, over water, with a life jacket and a rescue boat. That's pretty much just the way to learn any kind of new maneuver. And wingovers are no different. You have to have respect for a wingover because basically, as you do small wingovers, they're pretty safe. And when you get to really big wingovers, they get kind of safe too. But in the middle, you get this gray area where you can take outside wingtip collapses, where at the top of your pendulum, you don't apply enough outside brake, you get a wingtip collapse. As you come onto it, it turns the other way and it becomes a spiral. So have respect for wingovers. It's a real maneuver and it can totally go to shit really quickly. And the line between the totally easy, benign, small wingovers and the medium wingovers that can be really dangerous is like pretty gray, and you can get there accidentally. So, like I said, supervision, life jacket, safety boat, over water, this is the way to learn acrobatics. Wingovers are no different. I would say that if you're looking to learn to do wingovers, you want to make it a progression. And to start, you start with weight shift turns. Weight shift one way, weight shift the other way, weight shift one way, weight shift the other way. The timing of a wingover is different for every glider. It's different for the different wing loadings on the same glider. And so as you learn it, you have to get used to the rhythm of the glider that you're flying. And weight shift wingovers is the way that you learn this. So basically, just
it's like this. It's a
weight shift one way,
it just keeps
come over, weight shift the other way. And then you just like gently weight shift so that they don't get too big, because you can do really big wingovers with a weight shift only. 90% of the power that you put into a wingover is your weight shift. It's a weight shift maneuver. The brakes can accelerate it, but most of the power comes from your weight shift. So as you learn those weight shift turns, the next step is to add more weight shift. And as you add more weight shift, you're going to create a bigger oscillation in the glider, and you start coming into the area where you actually have to check the glider to keep it open. If you do a wingover and you don't do anything with the brakes, the high side of the glider can deflate because obviously you swing up towards it and the lines go slack, so it deflates. So the next step is to, as you're weight shifting, you're adding symmetrical brake to keep the glider open. Weight shift over, symmetrical brake. Weight shift over, symmetrical brake. Weight shift over, symmetrical brake. This is the stage where you really want to take a lot of time. Do not rush out of this stage, because this is something that you really have to master. The symmetrical brake input to keep the glider open, especially focusing on the high side of the glider, the outside wingtip. That is the malfunction for wingovers. That is what happens when you do it wrong. You take a collapse on the outside wingtip like this.
Oh shit.
That's me learning wingovers 4 years ago, and I'm pulling too much brake, and I'm getting too big for my britches, and I don't understand how it's going, and I take a huge whack like that. So you really want to stay in the point where you're just weight shifting and then using symmetrical brakes to check the glider, keep it open, and really feeling the outside brake. Chris Santacroce at Superfly, he recommends that as people learn, they're gently pulling on the inside brake and they're double pumping the outside brake. And he says that the first pump is so that you can feel where the pressure starts and you can explore the pressure, and then you let off, and then you can find the pressure again to make sure that you're actually feeling what it takes to keep the outside wingtip open. In general, the technique for wingovers is the same for every size. It is look, lean, pull. The look, it puts your eyes to where you're trying to go. It clears the airspace to make sure you're not going to crash into anything when you pull that turn. And it also keeps you from staring at your glider. You don't want to stare at your glider. The lean is the weight shift. That's 90% of the power that you put into a wingover. The pull is the inside can make it go bigger and faster, and the outside keeps the glider open. It's really important. The bigger the wingovers get, the more symmetrical the brake input actually becomes. It's counterintuitive. You think you would pull more brake for bigger wingovers, but as you build up more energy, you actually pull less, and it just does its thing automatically, and you pull a symmetrical brake input. The first two stages of wingovers, you really just want to do the look and the lean, and then the pulling is the symmetrical brake input to keep the glider open. As you start to progress out of that, you start to add pull. The pull should come on really gently, and it should come before you arrive under the glider. Okay? If you're waiting till you come in front of the glider, then you can slack the lines and take huge whacks. So, like I said, gentle pull on the inside brake when you start to get into that third stage, and do it before you arrive under the glider. That will get the glider out of the way and will keep you from going so big that the lines go slack and you take a huge whack.
Ready, weight shift and a little brake inside. Weight shift, a little brake. Weight shift. Brake. Okay, we're swinging under, we're pulling early. Both brakes, we're pulling. Both brakes. Let it surge.
For going huge on wingovers, I would say that there's some prerequisites just to help you understand when it's time to really start pushing in wingovers. You really want to know how to do fully nose down deep spirals on your glider at least negative 15 meters a second, and probably full stalls. Those are the kinds of things that you want to build up as a foundation to really start going for wingovers, because you're definitely going to screw it up at some point and take a huge whack, which could stall the glider, it could make the glider spiral, or have a huge cravat, something like that. So these are kind of the things that you want to have sorted before you start pulling a bunch of brake learning wingovers. But for going huge, there's a couple of tips that I'll give you. One is, as you start to swing under the glider, you give the outside, what was the outside and is going to become the inside brake, a quick jab. That brings the glider coming back to the other side, or makes you swing underneath the glider. As the glider flings over, they'll weight shift the opposite side, and they'll pull quick brake to get the glider starting to come back the other direction. Also, before you try going huge, you want to have practiced and probably mastered asymmetric spirals. Asymmetric spirals are essentially wingovers in one direction, and They are a lot safer than the reversal of a wingover, and so that will teach you the timing, that will teach you the braking, that will teach you the foundation for big wingovers is asymmetric spirals. So really make sure that you go the asymmetric spiral route before you start trying to pull the reversal, because the reversal is much more dangerous. And also, if you're trying to go really big, the later and later you pull the brake, the bigger you go, but the more and more energy that requires. So if you have a ton of energy and you're going really big and super fast, you can wait till the glider swings way up and you pull the brake and you go totally upside down, which will eat up a bunch of energy, and the next wingover you probably won't be able to go as big. That's how you do looping, right? You swing way under the glider and then pull it and stay on the brake until you come all the way around, but you can't do 2 loops in a row because the loop takes all of your energy. But in general, wingovers are so much fun. They're one of my favorite tricks. It's a great descending technique. It's a great way to learn your glider and to really develop your handling of the glider. It's one of the foundations of acrobatics. It is infinitely easy and infinitely difficult. It is very complex and nuanced. So get yourself a coach, be over water, do it smart. Paragliding is something you don't age out of, so don't be too overzealous like I was, and you'll be doing wingovers in no time. I hope this video helps you. If you like videos like this, then subscribe to my channel. I got a ton of videos and more coming on how you can improve your paragliding. I've got some really exciting announcements coming up. I got new gliders on the way for me to review and test, and so I'm stoked to share those with you. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you on the next episode.
So to build up the energy, we're gonna spin the glider. That's a quick way to do it, right? Spin the glider, let it shoot.